Give it 1 second.
Yeah.
And just sit down. Okay. All right. Fucking hell. This fucking thing in the background.
Don't worry, it's just the first episode. Relax.
No, we'll cut this out. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
First episode of the Quadcast. Here with the first ever interviewee guest, Mikhail Sison. So we're gonna run through a few questions. We're gonna answer things that you guys sent in, and we're gonna get a little deep dive into Mkyle here.
Going in deep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first off, just very basic for the people that are viewing this that don't know you. One thing that interviewers like always do that'll like really fuck shit up is they'll just give a very vague question of like, just talk about yourself.
Yeah, like what?
So I'm gonna ask you like, I know obviously you grew up in Torrance. How long have you been here? What do you think about the place?
I've honestly been here ever since I could remember, like, since I was 3, I think, because I was born in Carson,
Mm-hmm.
and we moved in to our old house, I'd say when I was 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been there for 10 years,
Yeah.
and the place is pretty decent. I don't really have, like, no thoughts and opinions on the hometown or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But,
I'm
like-
not much to care about, like, my environment, not to sound, like, shitty or anything, but
No,
it's
no,
just,
it's cool.
it's not bad.
Yeah. Financial situation, middle class, upper class?
I'd say middle class.
Middle class, yeah. It's a
Very
nice
average.
little place here. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm blessed, like, to have what I have now. I mean,
Yeah.
my backyard, I could fit, like, 5 of my old backyards into the one that I have now.
Yeah, you go to like
Especially having, like, my own workout place, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
This is nice, yeah.
I'm blessed to have it.
Like it's not super big or anything, but I mean you got basically like anything you need just for like basics. Like you have like a bench that has this little fucking thing for like leg extensions. Can you do hamstring curls on that?
I've tried many times. It hurts my kneecaps, but hey, anything. Just
You
anything
can
for
do
the
it, though.
hamstrings, Yeah.
It's there. And you, what the fuck is that? You have, can you show the camera? You see that like a little mini lock thing?
Yeah, what is it? I'd say, I'm just gonna call it a mini clamp.
The fuck is
For
this? Look at
weights.
it. It's way too small for fucking any barbell I've ever seen. Look at this shit. Hold this up to the camera. No barbells.
I mean, it fits on the bottom part for the weight shit.
This
for the
is
leg extension.
this is Mikhail's chastity ring that Amy gave him. Oh fuck! There's a little cricket.
No
What the fuck is a little spider?
Oh fuck that.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't
It
care.
blends in with the box. I'm a
It
little
does. It's camouflaged. Okay.
I'm a little worried.
All right. We're gonna jump straight in. I'm gonna ask you some.
Let's do it.
This is the Quadcast. This is a very fitness centered podcast, so you're gonna get a lot of questions like that, but we'll also go very deep into whatever we can and just let the conversation flow however it does. So first question for Mkyle. Fuck, my dad's gone. I'll cut this part
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But... Okay. Hola, papa. Oh wait, shit. It's like not connected. Hola, papa. So I was wondering, can like me and Mkyle, or fuck am I? Like, can I don't know. I can't speak right now.
Can you stay till longer? Because I could take you home.
Yeah. So can I stay a little bit longer because Mkyle lives like very close to LA Fitness, so we can just go there and then can you just like pick me up at like 8? Yeah. Okay. Dope. Yeah. Come on.
Let's go.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Right. Seated. So.
Let's
Alright.
go.
Do you want to start over?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
I think I would have been a little more nervous if we did start over.
Okay.
We can keep that in too. We can just cut off little snippets
Yeah.
and then just be like, "Yo, Dad called."
Yeah. Okay. First question. And this is something that I've been trying to like talk you into a little bit. Will you ever take performance enhancing drugs?
Fuck.
PDs. I know it sounds weird. Before that, I know it sounds really fucked. That I'm like, oh, I want him to like, I'm like talking him into it. But no, when I'm older, like I do very much plan to compete in professional bodybuilding, and to think that you can be a top level Olympian or like compete at that level naturally is it's very naive. And so I understand that, and I've thought very like long and deeply about like I'm not gonna do this in like a stupid way. Obviously, I'm gonna be very methodical about like cycle design and things like this. I know it's gonna sound like very crazy for anyone's listening. It's like this fucking 16-year-old wants to do these things, um, but I'm not gonna be reckless at all. I'm gonna have everything monitored by a doctor, which that might surprise people. But you can actually get certain compounds prescribed from a doctor, such as Winstrol, Anavar, testosterone, and you can also have all of those things clinically monitored by a hormone physician. So it's not illegal at all. You can very much have these things be monitored and not do this recklessly, which is the route that I want to take. Because although I understand that it's not the healthiest thing for me to be doing, I do think that the harm mitigation that's possible just from having everything monitored and doing everything in the most intelligent way possible will significantly decrease the risk that I'm putting to my own health.
Right.
But for you,
dude, I want to stay natty forever, man.
mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like my mind's gonna change though. Like, just seeing shit on Instagram, I feel like my
well, it's more like seeing shit in real life. I'm making
I'm just
crazy
like,
gains.
god damn, like LA Fitness, dude. They, believe it or not, hella juicers in there.
Oh, I know. No, I can spot them so easily. It's not
like hella juicers, dude. I'm just
people.
like,
People think that like steroids are like this like mythical thing that it's just these like juice head bodybuilders are doing. It's fucking normal ass people that are doing them. There's kids in high school that are doing them. I think I saw some recently like steroids are more popular than heroin. They are.
Jesus Christ,
they're very popular. It's not something that's like hard to get your hands on. Like we're not gonna like name any names or anything, but there's very many people at the school that I know I could get certain compounds from, like drugs, not even steroids. Just like it's not hard at this level of just like even in high school being in the world to get your hands on illegal substances. It's just not. Um, and so the use of compounds like that, like people think it's just bodybuilders. It's anyone that even wants to look like a little bit better. I've had conversations with so many people who are like, no, obviously I don't want to be a bodybuilder, but I do want just to look a little bit better. And that's the main reason. They don't want to like be blasting shit till their fucking testicles fall off. But
it's a little like dishonorable though, don't you think? It's just like, I want to look better. A needle in.
Well, it's you still. Like, so a lot of people think, and even like PewDiePie, I saw, because I was watching one of his videos on the Liver King actually, recently. He was like, steroids work really well. They actually work so well that even if you don't work out, you'll still make more gains than someone who's working out. That's not true. If you're taking shit and you're not working out, you're not eating clean, you're not going to be making crazy gains. What's going to happen is you'll be a little bit bigger because you're going to hold more water. And maybe you'll have even a little bit more muscle mass, but it's not going to exceed the amount of someone who's lifting naturally. Right. And then on top of that, like at least in my situation, like in bodybuilding, it's not tested, so it's not cheating because everyone there is on things. It's allowed. It's like you can't like I know for like the layman who doesn't really know anything about bodybuilding, that might be like, oh, maybe it's possible if you just work hard enough to be in. It's not. It's your body physiologically cannot get into that physique like level territory to compete in the Mr. Olympia naturally, especially nowadays. Even if you're the most genetically gifted guy, it's just impossible, and it's a sad truth, but it really is. And so it would be dishonorable if it was like, let's say you're competing in a tested federation where, like the Olympics, for example, or the UFC, where you are expected to be natural, and you're secretly like dodging drug guidelines. Roy Jones Jr., Conor McGregor, and or like with the Liver King situation where you're telling people, live like this, and you can look like me when in reality you're taking shit. In those situations, yes, it is dishonorable. But if you're just someone who just wants to get in better shape, Let's say maybe you just want to stay pretty lean year round, and so you want to just take like a low dose of TRT, and your lifestyle is like otherwise very healthy. It wouldn't actually be that unhealthy to take a TRT. It's a lifetime commitment, and I wouldn't. If you are someone who just wants to be pretty lean year round, just look a little bit better, I honestly would very much urge you to think about a lifetime commitment on TRT, because TRT is not something that's like. So for the people listening, this is a little bit of like education. If you're someone who wants to hop on TRT, if you take it and you get off like a year later, you might be able to return to natural function. What I mean by that is your fertility, your sex drive, those things may be able to return to normal. There's no guarantee, but there's also drugs you can take to also help you recover your fertility, like Clomid is one of them. There's a bunch of others, but I don't really know them off the top of my head. But if you stay on TRT for like 10, 15 years, the likelihood that you're going to return back to baseline function, how you were naturally, is very low. So think very much like very, very hardly about that, and like your own finances. Are you sure you're going to be able to afford it? And look at your clinicians, their practices, very much look into your own genetic history on like, is this something safe for you to be doing as an individual? Do you have strong organs, healthy heart, kidneys, liver, etc.? And think about that before you decide to hop on anything. But as I was saying, in my eyes, it's not dishonorable unless you're explicitly competing in something that requires you to be natural and you're claiming that you're natural. Right. But if you're just someone who wants to hop on shit, like, personally, I know this is going to be very controversial, I'm for the legalization of steroids.
Oh, yeah.
Because even the craziest cycles that you're taking, I'm talking specifically about anabolic steroids. I'm not talking about, I don't know if growth hormone goes into that class. I don't know if IGF-1 goes into the class of steroids. It might, so forgive me if I sound ignorant when I'm saying this. I don't know if insulin is a steroid. I don't think it is, but maybe it is as well. It's something that's used for like bodybuilders who are trying to like get really, really big, is insulin and IGF-1 concurrently together to put on like size. It's something they use a lot. But even if you're like abusing steroids, it takes like 20 years, 10 plus years for the actual negative side effects of steroids to come in. Now, the really unhealthy part of bodybuilding is peak week. It's the fact that that last week of competition, what they're doing is they're dehydrating themselves a lot. So a really dangerous part about it is something called diuretics, which is there's these drugs that are used to flush out the water in your system to give you a drier look on stage. And then also the really unhealthy part is the rebound after competition, because these people are at like 4% body fat. And then if you're not like an experienced competitor and you don't have a really high amount of like mental fortitude, people will very commonly gain 20 pounds a week after a show. In fact, there's very few, but it does happen where people will gain 100 pounds. I know a few people who gain 100 pounds within a month after a show, and they get sent to the hospital and they have to get all this fluid drained. That's also a very big risk. But there's ways to mitigate that. One, if you are lean enough, it's not necessary to completely pull out water. Diuretics to a certain extent, if you're not dry enough. So that comes down to your own conditioning. Can you genetically get that type of conditioning where you don't need to take diuretics? Not a lot. In some situations, you will have to take them. Even if you just miss your peak a little bit, if you want to be at your very best, you might have to take them, but you do not have to go overboard with them. It's very dose dependent. It's very individual response dependent. It's not just like, oh, you take a diuretic and there's different compounds. Everyone will respond to them differently. So you need to take low doses at first to understand your own response to these compounds and make decisions from that point. This is probably very boring for anyone that's not fucking
people
like,
who are like not even in
bodybuilding.
Yeah,
they're just like, what
like,
the
dude,
fuck are these guys talking about? Like
they'd rather go to school than listen to this shit.
Okay.
I have no steroid knowledge.
Yeah.
I just know what it does, what it's for.
Yeah.
And like, there's some people who are like, I'm on steroids, and it's just like from medication or some shit.
Yeah. It's like steroids, but look, when people talk about steroids, what they're really talking about is anabolic steroids that help you build muscle.
Yeah.
But you could be on corticosteroids for breathing, like very many people who have asthma.
Yeah, I had that shit. Like,
it's like, oh, I'm on steroids, I should be building muscle. It's like, no, dude.
I was fat as fuck.
It's like, you're fat as fuck.
I had my chubby stage when I was
10 years old, you have asthma. You're not going to be fucking Ronnie Coleman.
I had my inhaler, right? Like, it's just some sort of medication. Because I was sent to the hospital a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And most of the time was because of asthma. When I would take that shit, it would be like, I'd be fat, dude. I was chubby. I had my chubby stage. Yeah. But other than that, I was always a skinny bitch. And sometimes it run past my mind. I'm just like, one cycle would it hurt? Like just one. Yeah. But I have to do my research.
If you do ever do it, I'm very down to like help you through that process. And obviously, like, as I get more connected to bodybuilding, I'm gonna get into contact with people who are much more knowledgeable than me. I think I'm very knowledgeable for someone my age because I've been researching these things since I was very young. And I really hope no one take anything that I was saying like too literally, because I'm not an expert in this, but I don't think I said anything too crazy. I don't think I said anything that was incorrect. If I did, Greg Doucette, make a video about it. Joey Swole, call me out. But we're going to get into some more questions. I want to talk to you a little bit about mental health, if you want to. So
let's do that.
So I'm interviewing you, so I'm going to direct this at you. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how you were kind of like when I first got here and a little bit before then.
Okay. I never really was like the type to put it in the spotlight like, yo, I'm kind of hurting right now. Yeah. But what is it? I guess it's very unhealthy for me to do this, or for me to have done this. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't talk to anybody. I don't do that. Like, and it's not to be like, oh, I'm some Sigma kind of guy. Like, I don't like emotionally express how I feel. But there are certain times where it's like, maybe I trust this person. I'll tell them, like, maybe in like the slightest. But it's like, as time goes by, let's say about an hour, so I'm just like, fuck. If I could delete that message, if I could take back what I said to him, I'd take it back. Because I don't want anybody else knowing what's going on in my life. Yeah. But me. Yeah. And I don't feel like very strong if it's just me, or if it's just me taking care of my own issues, then that's like, I can tell myself, you know, no one else was there for me, just me. Yeah. And that's what I want. Yeah. That's what I want. And it's bad, but it's like at the same time I want help from somebody. Yeah. But it's just like, you know, you can never depend on anyone else but you.
You want the help, but you don't want to depend on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I mean, I don't know if I want it or not. It's a very, very rocky topic for me. Not like anything bad, like it makes me feel like sad talking about it, but it's like I myself kind of barely even know how I feel. Because whenever I like detect something's wrong, I'm just like, bro, fuck that, keep going. Like, you know, there's no time to feel sad. Fuck you. Like, there's that part of my mind where it's just like, we're sad. I'm just like, all right, the fuck, who's we? That's you. Like, it's just a certain divide in my brain. So I'm just like, you know what? I got shit to do. I'll probably like. Sometimes it's bad to the point where I could just sit around on my phone in the most uncomfortable position too. Yeah. Like, uncomfortable as in like I'm sitting on the couch, and half my ass is on the couch and the other one's just in the air. I'm just like this on my phone. I'm just like, I don't want to get up. Like, willpower from your mind is very strong, like very strong. I don't know, man. It's a strange topic. I mean, for anybody else, like, who is struggling with the shit that I was or am, I don't know. I don't know if I am. But if you do have issues, and if I'm not trying to discredit anyone who wants to talk about it, everyone has their way of going through like certain, what do you call it? Certain trials, shit. So I'm just like,
trials and tribulations.
Yeah. Everyone has different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to like, you know,
knock on
like,
anyone else's mental.
Yeah, like you're weak as shit if you talk to anybody. Dude,
yeah.
Talk to someone. I highly advise to talk to somebody.
So do you think it's a little hypocritical?
Yes, it very much is. And you know what's funny? I hate hypocrites, but I'm a hypocrite myself.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know what, man? That's
I think it's it's a little bit of like a pride thing.
Yeah.
Because
so, yeah.
with me, I kind of have the same thing where I'm like, I want to be able to do this by myself. And for me, at least, I've gotten to a point and I've gone through enough things where I very much know that I can do X, Y, and Z by myself, that I can get through those situations by myself because I have, and I'm still here and I'm still thriving. I'm still going after the things that I want to go after, and I'm still very much focused on the things that I want to be focused on, like making this podcast, bodybuilding, trying to get my grades up. School doesn't really mean much to me, but I just mean that as kind of like a side thing.
It's just here for now.
Yeah, but one of the things that really keeps me going is it's not necessarily crying to anyone else about like, oh my God, this is happening in my life. Like, please, like, tell me what to do. I really don't do that to anyone. I haven't in probably since I was like 12 years old or something like that. But for me, it's thinking about the people that I care about and knowing that they believe in me to do the things that I'm saying I'm doing, because I've been there for them and they really want me to succeed. And I think about those people. I think about you. I think about the people in Florida. I think about my friends here. And I just always think to myself, like, I can't let more than these people down. I can't let myself down, because what it's always been for me is I always, like, growing up, when I was very, very young, I would, like, tell people these, like, lies about, like, who I was. I'd be like, oh, I'm so rich. I have this, like, mansion and, like, all this crap. And I would, like, put on this, like, even up to, like, last year, I put up this. I don't want to call it an act, because it was genuinely how I wanted to be. But it wasn't necessarily me, where I was just like, if you're from Florida and you knew me last year, you know very much what I'm talking about. I was just like fucking insane, and I was just like going out of my way to be the best, not the best version of myself, but just to be the best at everything. Yeah. And it's not necessarily that in and of itself is like a bad ideal. What it is that it wasn't me. I was emulating this guy, you all know him, David Goggins. He was very much someone that I never really looked up to anyone, but he was someone that I had a lot of respect for. And so I wanted to kind of take on his, Dorian Yates, Tom Platt's kind of like mentality and work ethic that they had, and apply that to my own life. But my problem was that persona was carrying on into so many aspects of my life, that even though when people would talk to me, they'd be like, oh my God, you're so confident and charismatic. Like, when I would talk to them and say, like, oh, I have social anxiety, they would look at me like, what? Right. You have social anxiety? Like, exactly. What are you talking about? Like, you're one of the most confident people that I know. And I would, like, literally, like, 20 minutes later, or, like, 20 minutes before, I would be, like, almost throwing up in the bathroom because of how, like, anxious that I felt, like, pounding in my chest, sweating, like, you know, that kind of, like, speech. But that would never show. Right. I was very good I'm very articulate, and so I don't really struggle speaking ever. But I would put on this I would use this anxiety that I had, and it would make me more charismatic, because I would compensate more for it. But now I'm very much like, whether or not this is the best version of myself, or it's not, this is how I am. And if people don't like that, if they don't like this more mellowed out version of me, the work ethic is still there. Yeah. Everything is still there. But the personality is my own. Like, even with this podcast, like, I'm not going to fucking ask you shit that I don't want to ask you. I'm not going to ask you fucking, oh, what grade are you in? Like, what, I'm not going to ask you stupid shit. It's going to be what the fuck I want to ask you. I'm going to talk to you how I want to speak to you. I'm going to talk to whoever how I want to speak to whoever. And it's that. I don't have to put on anyone else's act. I'm me, and I'm very comfortable with me. Not comfortable. I'm very I'm proud of who I am, and I don't need to like hide or put on any sort of act for anyone. So there's that. Yeah.
Fuck validation.
Yeah, like even even in the gym, when people like compliment me, I'm just kind of like I've had people tell me before like, oh, how come you don't like really like respond or anything when anyone says that, or how come you're like very neutral? Because I'm not in the gym for anyone else's approval. I'm not in the gym to impress anybody. I'm there because I want to be fucking Mr. Olympia. I want to be the greatest bodybuilder there ever was and there ever will be, because I love bodybuilding and I am in my heart and soul a bodybuilder, and is truly what I love. And I don't need to worry about like, oh my god, am I like really attractive? Oh my god, like what do these people think about my body? Like, are girls not gonna like me if I'm too buff? This is what the fuck I want to do. And if you're not into bodybuilding, you don't like bodybuilders. Like, okay, I don't hold any ill will towards you. You're not my enemy. It's like, okay, you don't like it, all right? Like, cool, keep. No, it's not even keep it to yourself. You can say that. I'm not affected by it. I'm just like, all right, you don't like bodybuilding, cool. That's it. It doesn't have to be this like argument of like, well, skinny guys are better, dad bods, or fit guys.
Sorry. If you're skinny, you look good. Rock your body. I don't know.
You don't look good, but nah.
Fix that shit.
No, but I mean it's very much dependent on like. Look, in my own personal opinion, everyone should be doing just for health. I know that's weird for me talking about that because fucking bodybuilders steroids. We are not taking anything.
Oh, not taking like what we put in our bodies. Like, it may seem unhealthy to you, like fucking 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day.
I was speaking more of like, we're natural. We are very much natural.
Yes. Till he's 18.
Till I'm 18, and I can actually order shit. He's not gonna. I'm gonna convert him.
He's trying to indoctrinate you, bro.
But where was I?
What is it? If you don't like bodybuilding, you don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's transition into some of the questions that were asked, and there's one that's very much related to what we were just talking about.
But like before we move on though, like that David Goggins shit.
Yeah.
You remember what I posted on my story where it was like, there's some time, I don't know, like I can't quote what he said directly, but like in his.
If you say it, I can probably remember.
Yeah, it was do you want to walk around knowing that you could but you didn't?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Not those words particularly. They were in there, but I just can't remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta get up, man.
Yeah.
Get up.
Yeah.
Get up.
The whole thing with like, you shouldn't like, for whatever you need to achieve in your life, you're like, I want to set this goal. You shouldn't need anyone else to
push,
give you the mental fortitude.
Right.
You can look. For me, like motivation, quote unquote, is everywhere. I can get motivated by not being motivated, because I always say like, oh, if I'm not motivated and I gotta do X, Y, and Z, then if I do X, Y, and Z when I'm not motivated, then how the fuck am I gonna do this when I am motivated? You know, I'll just be that much better. Like, you can find motivation in anything.
TikTok, YouTube,
in anything.
Dude, just go on your phone.
But that's not like, the motivation isn't what's important. If you need, like for me in bodybuilding, I'm gonna need a coach to see me and to be able to track my diet and be that guy who's more informed than I am and who can make those decisions that I cannot in bodybuilding, to guide me through those types of things. But as far as pushing myself and as far as like keeping my own head in the game, you have to be able to block out all the negative shit. Use whatever you need, whatever, like, it's so crazy when people are like, oh, I just, like, I don't know, like, I don't really feel it, or, you know, I'm not, like, oh, I'm not that guy, or whatever it is. It's like, it would be so unbelievably easy for me to motivate you, or for you to motivate yourself, or whatever. You just have to, it's crazy when people are like, oh, this is when people realize, like, that they have to chase their dreams, or, like, there is no concurrent, like, exact formula that anyone can tell you. you really have to do some like searching about. I'm not talking about like soul searching or anything, but you just have to live in life. Like last year, what I did was I put myself out there. It wasn't actually who I was in terms of my persona, but that person was still watching what the persona was doing, and it learned what I'm capable of, and I know what I'm capable of. I know that, like when I moved here, it was one of the most stressful periods of my life, emotionally, because I was ripped away from essentially the best friends that I had ever had in my entire life. Like, it's really only been until the last like year and a half that I've been considered anybody, because my entire life growing up I was always thought of as like this weird guy, this like everyone always thought that there was something wrong with me, like they thought like I was on the spectrum, or they thought X, Y, and Z about me, um, and I was always thought of as like this other thing that people didn't want to associate themselves with my entire life growing up, and so it's very, very new to me for people to think of me in any sort of positive light. I don't know, that may sound very sad, but I was never like, I never thought that there wasn't any possibility of me being where I am right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Most definitely.
Like, I've dealt with pretty much like suicidal thoughts like my entire life. Like, I didn't think when I was like 8 years old, when I was like growing up, I thought I wouldn't even make it to 14, because I was just so messed up mentally from the things that I'd gone through, that I genuinely thought like there's no way I'm not gonna kill myself by 14 years old, and there's no way I'm gonna live till 18 years old, because I thought there was no possibility that I wasn't gonna kill myself because of how beat up I was mentally at that point in time, how weak I was mentally. And what it was that I didn't have a passion. I didn't have anything that I had to live for. Exactly. It was like, I was like, I want to do something. I want to be somebody. Like, everyone always wants to be somebody, but they don't know who they are. And so it's really hard trying to be somebody if you don't know who that somebody is. You know, because there's a lot of people who will mimic, like, let's say, to be successful on social media. There's these, like, I'm calling you out. There's these twins on Instagram, and there's a lot of people who will copy this what I call it is like this like David Lade aesthetic. So for those of you that don't know, David Lade is this very popular, very good looking, great physique, fitness influencer, and he's been around for a very long time. He's inspired a lot of people. Great. But too many people try and make their content like his. Right. Too many people try and chase his aesthetic. And if you are someone who, they probably won't say like, "Oh, I'm copying David Lade." They won't say that, but they will definitely say that they very much look up to him. Like, "Oh, I love David Lade. I love Jeff Side. I love like." It's like you're very much idolizing these people, and you will never be these people. I'm not saying that like, oh, you can never be as great as them. I'm saying that
there's only you. There's only one.
You can't be a better version of them than they are.
Exactly.
And so to try and like emulate their content, it's like it's already being done in a more authentic way than what you're putting out is producing. So it's very hard to chase that, you know? All right. We segue into the questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about a lot of mental health.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of controversial shit that, like, I want to talk, like, I kind of want to talk about something controversial.
Bring it up.
You know how, like, mental health and shit?
Yeah.
Like, you when you met me, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, because I just met this guy. Like, he's new.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing you walk to my second period, I was like, who's this guy? I was like, all right, then. Came back from the restroom, he's sitting in the classroom, just like, all right. And I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but like, when I see a guy, I like to analyze his physique. Pause. I like to see what he got. Like, wait. Okay.
Not like that.
I just like to see what he's built with.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
And, well, look, like people might be like, oh, sus, whatever.
Yeah.
But like in reality, if a really tall or a really like jacked guy walks in a room, it's not even about being jacked. It's anyone with some sort of like abnormal appearance, whether that be like dyed hair, they're super fat, they're super skinny, they're super jacked, super tall, super short. Like, you're gonna take note of it. You're gonna like subconsciously kind of like gauge them. Yeah. You know.
And I was like, huh, we got that. I was like, okay, he got forearms, all right. Then. So I was like, okay. So he lifts. And then what is it? I think I asked you like, you lift or anything, and then you were like, yeah, and I was like, fuck. I was like, competition. But hey, that was alright. And what is it? Eventually, we worked out together. I don't know how it happened.
I think we just like talked you. Like. Was it? Did you call me or did I call you?
I called you. And I was like.
You're like, are you at the gym?
Yeah, I was like, where you at? Because you told me you worked out at like
LA Fitness. Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I'm down. And so, I was. Even that day, I had this scar on my lap, but. No, I'm not gonna say that. Okay, sometimes.
Say shit.
Alright, fuck it. Alright. When I lift and in between sets, maybe I still do it. Who knows? But I like to. You see these trophies?
Yeah.
You see that part? They're these trophies, right? Yeah. You see? Not. I mean anything. I unscrew it, and in between sets, start cutting. Especially my back and everything, my chest, everything. And honestly, like, it would take out a couple like grams of anger out of me. I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. And even I still cover them, especially this one on here. Yeah. But now it's just like, I really don't give a fuck if you see it or not, because regardless if I do it, I know a lot of people like Luciano, for instance. He's like, you and Luciano. He was like, bro, like, you gotta relax on that, especially Jorge. But what is it? I would do it, and then you were like, yo, relax. Like, relax on the cutting. And then he gave me that hug, and I was like, okay, alright. And it was like, I think it started from there where everything just started to build up. Because even I thought I had no purpose either. Like, just like you.
Is that you or is that? Wait, my dad's calling me real quick. Hold up.
Pause.
My phone's at like 5%. But
I think I got the charger for you.
There's gonna be so much fucking editing. Shit's gonna be so fucking hard. Huh? Yours? No. I have mine. Wait, back.
You need
could have texted me that shit.
You need an iPhone charger?
Yeah, not right now though. It's pretty low, but it's fine.
If you need one, I got it.
Alright, well,
but
charger after.
What is it?
About the cutting.
Yeah. I have scars. And shit. And sometimes if I were to do it, it wouldn't be about like a mental health issue. Like, I just do it just cause. Like, you know how somebody gives you like a little slap on the back before you hit a set? I guess.
I wouldn't compare those two, because a slap on the back's not.
It's
like,
not.
It's kind of like a permanent thing.
Yeah. But. Yeah.
I didn't know that you still did it.
No. Ever since I told you, like,
You stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And what is it? Where was I going with this? Ever since that, it's just
that like talk in LA Fitness where I was just like
that thing, and then like somehow our group that we have now. Sorry,
it just naturally formed. Like people, like whenever I go anywhere, people like my family, Georgie sometimes is always like, when are you gonna, or even like, not my dad doesn't really like push it at all, but they're always like, when are you gonna like start like looking for friends? Like when I moved to Florida, I was like, do you have any friends yet? I told you I was always a very loner kind of guy. And I would always tell people, like, it'd be like a day in, they'd be like, do you have any friends yet? I'd be like, I don't consider anyone a friend after a day. Right. So it's like, or like even like a month in, I don't consider anyone a friend after 1 month of knowing them. So I was like, no, I don't have any friends. But the group that I had that eventually became the best friends that I ever had, it just naturally formed. Like, I don't want to talk about like how exactly I met them because I want that to be like kind of its own podcast on something else. But it's like even over here, in my opinion, like if you are someone who's like, oh, I'm very lonely and like I want friends, don't like put up this act of just be who you are. You want to talk to more people, okay, talk to more people. That's a good way to make some friends. But you never put on any sort of like act of like any fake persona. Put yourself out there more, but it needs to be you. It can't be like what I was doing, which was this like emulation of David Goggins, Tom Platz, and Dorian Yates. It needs to be who you are.
Right.
And if people don't fuck with you, so be it. Like, it's not, don't take it as an insult to yourself. Work on yourself, improve yourself, do your own self-reflection.
For you though, not just for validation of other people.
Yeah, well, it's from a desire to want to, like, be a better part, like, be a better, like an outstanding, not an outstanding citizen, but like, that sounds like very like robotic propaganda, but it's from a desire to just help society, because if you're better, then you treat other people better, and that positivity spreads and spreads very rapidly. There's something that Jordan Peterson said once, which is very true, which is that like the average person will know like 1,000 people in their lifetime well enough to actually make like a significant impact on them. And so think about that. If you treat these 1,000 people very, very well, these 1,000 people will act to a certain degree better in the world, whether that be more positively, whatever. And then they'll go on to affect 1,000 more people in their lifetimes. And so you're one step away from 1,000, you're 2 steps away from 1,000,000, you're 3 steps away from 1,000,000,000 people. So it ripples very, very fast.
And that's what I kind of like about, TikTok, and I know like it's gonna seem mad like crazy, but a lot of people are probably gonna be like, "Why are you talking about him on the podcast?" Andrew Tate.
Oh, okay.
That's good. I'm not. You thought I was gonna say.
I don't give a shit. No, like, I'm gonna be like, I thought I was gonna say who?
And Kanye West.
Kanye. We can talk about both. I don't care.
That's crazy. Yeah, but what is it? Andrew Tate. Man, there's a lot of people that I know. Like, we're still friends, but
yeah,
when I talk about him, it's just like eye roll.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand why you feel that way about certain characters such as Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't think they've dived deep enough to like what it is he says.
Yeah. To
get most of like, let's say, somebody who watches Andrew Tate. Like,
yeah.
I don't watch like his podcast or anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I'm on TikTok a lot. I see clips, videos, everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get the positive side of it. Mm-hmm. And I know myself enough to like, I know what I want to take from and use.
Yeah. And not like, use other things.
Yeah, and emulate into my life. Mm-hmm. And there's some things that I'm just like, all right, well, he's going to live that way, go ahead. But not to say that I don't benefit from what it is that he puts out to the world.
Yeah. And I think a big problem with it is that people can't separate ideas and thoughts, one, in isolation, and two, separate them from the person. Because with Andrew Tate, for example, there's a ton of things, and I'm going to sound like such a fucking soy boy to a few people, but I don't care. I do disagree with some of his opinions about women. But the motivation thing is there. But for me, it's so that separation between like a person and the idea, like some of the ideas that he's presenting, I do very much resonate with as far as motivation goes.
Some of them are a bit extreme, but I'm just like, fuck it. If you can't take it, then that's on you.
Well, sometimes he's playing a little bit of a character. And so sometimes he's like, well, I'll challenge my son to Mortal Kombat if he's not strong. If he's not strong by 13 years old, I'll challenge him.
Or what it's like when he was like, if you kill yourself, you're a bitch. And I'm just like, okay, fine.
No, like, if my friend is having a heart attack in front of me,
let it happen.
Let it happen. If you're my friend, you get up. You'll be fine.
Or what is it?
Smoke a blunt.
Choke a bitch.
That's fine.
Slap. That's okay. It's funny. Okay, I'm sorry. It's funny.
No, look, if that's like just like role play.
Yeah.
And that's your own like sexual relationship with someone, that's fine.
Yeah.
No one will care. It's none of anyone's business what the fuck you're doing in the bed. If you guys fucking are shoving avocado seeds up your ass, you can't say anything. Sounds really fucking weird, but it's like that's none of your fucking business. You can't be like, oh, don't do this, and
don't do that.
It's like at the end of the day, if they're there alone, they will do what the fuck they want to do. And
yes, we do.
If there's some slapping and choking, I don't even think slapping and choking are like really controversial. I think they're very common.
Yeah.
But as far as like the Andrew Tate thing goes, there are ideas from him that I like in isolation. There are ideas from him that I don't like in isolation. And that's about as far as that goes. I don't feel very strongly one way or another about him like I do towards a Dorian Yates or a David Goggins, a Tom Platz. I very much like those people. I like their mentalities, and I resonate with a lot of the things that they speak about. And I've watched enough of those people to be like, I like these people. Or like a Jordan Peterson. I like these people. With Andrew Tate, I knew who he was a while before, like maybe like a year before he blew up. And it's not because of the kickboxing. I went through my own like very like right-wing phase when I was like 14 years old or something like that. And so I saw him actually on a lot of these podcasts talking about like male self-improvement, and he was on them. And so I knew him from that, and I knew him as kind of being like this like guy with a lot of like bravado even then, because I forget what the podcast was called, but he was talking about like, oh, like I could take on every single person in this building in a fight if I had to. And it was just like, okay, he's a character, you know. I knew from that point, because at that point he wasn't very well known, that he was gonna like at some point or another blow up, just because of that type of like Conor McGregor, like Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, like personality. Andrew Tate, I'm not like, a lot of people are gonna be like, how are you gonna compare him to Muhammad Ali? I'm not saying that he's like as humble or as, you know, anything like that. What I'm talking about is just more that kind of like I could take on the world personality by myself, and that's what I mean. So yeah, just putting the nail in the coffin on that conversation. Maybe that was a little bit scattered, but
it was like
I like,
right, you kept picking up the phone.
I like some of his ideas in isolation. I don't like certain others of him in isolation.
Like,
and I have watched enough of him that I can say like I don't mess with him a lot. I'm not going to go out of my way to support him or to speak or defend him in any way, shape, or form. But for what I can, I will. Okay, so now we're going to get into
the nitty gritty.
These questions aren't great.
They're from other people, so you know what? Fuck it.
Okay, so first one. Okay. Do we work out for the hoes or do we work out for the bros? Fucking deep-ass conversation about like fucking misogyny, steroids, depression, suicide, and we're just going to this shit. I work out for myself is why I work out.
I'm going to be dead honest. I work out for myself. No, I'm just kidding. But what is it? Okay. Let's go into that. When I first started working out, I was like, I'd say last year March. No. Yeah, last year March.
Okay.
And what is it?
Like 2021 March.
Yeah. Okay. And that was like when I finally picked up a weight.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. None of that. All I did.
You just
I couldn't even lift this shit.
What is that?
This is a 10. Could you believe that? And I couldn't even do 10 push-ups either. Okay. And at that time, I was still talking to, what is it? My ex. We weren't
names. You don't have to, but
I don't even think she's gonna see this.
Look, regardless, it's like.
Do you think it's
you could talk about your life, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, if I were you, I wouldn't go out of your way to trash them.
Yeah.
But speak about what happened authentically.
I'm not gonna say names.
You could just speak about experiences. Yeah, you don't name them.
What is it?
Cause you're pussy.
Shut the fuck.
I'm just kidding.
I don't want to plaster her name because what I'm about to talk about is just crazy.
Yeah.
But what is it? 7th grade, we met. She liked me first. I was with someone else. I'm gonna just dumb it down. I was with someone else. We weren't dating, but I was still talking with someone else. And I was like, you know what? If she likes me, let me see. I was a little interested, so I was like, let me play with my food real quick. Sorry, but I experimented, and dude, I actually I dug myself my own hole. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy. I was like, okay, at first it was like, let me just like her. And then it turned to, let me try some shit. Like, let me be a better person. Like, let me be nicer, acts of service. Because my love language is, I have a lot of shit for my love language. But, and it's just...
I don't know. Please explain.
Normal middle school shit, basically.
Yeah.
And so, we met, we started talking. It was very awkward. It was always awkward. Because I don't think she ever broke out of her shell. Only when it was, alone with me, that she would, be more comfortable. And over text and over the phone, different person. But when you're with her in person, it's just like a fucking turtle shell. I'm just like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking freaking.
Because there's no consequences to your actions when you're texting.
Right.
But when you're in person, it's like I actually have to deal with what this person's reaction is to what I'm saying in real time. Exactly. And then on top of that, you're gonna be less interesting because you don't have as much time to think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
So.
And what is it? There was only, I'd say, one time where we were comfortable with each other, and it was on a bus, on the way home from a field trip. We were in private school. She got a little not so private school, but it's okay. We never got caught, so that's fine. But fast forwarding to last year, we had a very rocky kind of relationship, and let me think. I just felt like she wasn't good for me anymore. It wasn't good to hold on to what it is. We were friends. We would talk and stuff, but something just told me, you know what, just block her on everything.
What? What do you mean?
In my head, I was like, you know what, we've done a lot. Not sex or anything, because I was still a virgin then. But we've done so much. We've gone through this, we've gone through that. She you know the ex that I told you that traded me off for my friend and shit? And then we kind of fell apart. It's a long story. But nonetheless, I ghosted her. And that's when it all started. I was like, she was the type to tell me you're still pretty skinny. And I'm just like, I don't want that. I don't want to be skinny anymore. And so I ghosted her.
The typical breakup bodybuilder motivation.
I ghosted her. And I always thought about all the times where it's I was rejected. I was just not the best looking.
Yeah. Not
the best shape.
Yeah. Just
the way I was living in general.
Yeah.
And it's just a start. I still held on to a lot of my bad habits. And what is it? Even then, even now, I'm still trying to get rid of so much shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'd say what motivated me was to look better for the hoes. For the hoes. I want to
originally, which very much for whatever reason you're making a journey in self-improvement. It's whatever it is ultimately good because the end thing is good. It's kind of does the ends justify the means, or is the
but you also gotta self-reflect as well, because honestly, if I was in her shoes, looking back now, it kind of makes sense, where it's just why she did those things. Some of the things that she did was just borderline outrageous. Yeah. And honestly, thinking back, younger me, I don't think I deserved that. But the way I was, some of the things completely justified.
Yeah, because if you're being outrageous, then the other person is going to be outrageous as well. And if you're being very sweet or very
I'd say
respectable,
energy,
then you're going to get that back.
Nah, energy was not reciprocated.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I thought that was.
I'm not saying that it was. I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, you know, to a certain degree, we always have to hold ourselves accountable. And first off, like, in the first place, like, getting to know someone and knowing that if they are that type of person that's going to be outrageous and be just crazy in whatever facets that they are, not get into a relationship with that person, you know?
I hate using this word, but I was a simp. And honestly, I'd say summer of 2020, it kind of worked.
Okay.
A lot of it. Sometimes, a lot of it worked. I always had like an ideal, not an ideal. I always had a crush basically, and if it was my standards were pretty low, I always settled for what I got, not what I wanted, because what I wanted would always say no, and so yeah, so I did work out for the hoes, but now I work out like just because I want to.
Yeah.
I want to look better for me, and it's come to a point where, sure, like if I get complimented, it's nice, but I'm just not like, bearing over just one compliment now. Like,
I'm like, oh shit, I'm the shit she called. She said I had some biceps.
I had that phase already.
Yeah.
Because I was never known as like the big guy.
Yeah.
Like, I never had what I have now. And people would like, they wouldn't think of me as attractive. I'd be cute.
Yeah, which is disrespectful. It's not like, if you're a man and you want to portray yourself as a man and people are calling you cute, you're always going to find that disrespectful. You will. If you want to be a little femboy, whatever.
Dude,
if that's if that's what you want to do, that's how you want to portray yourself in your life and whatever, then whatever. But for anyone that doesn't want to portray themselves as that and wants to instead kind of have this more like masculine appearance, and you're being called cute regardless of what anyone's saying, like, oh, it's a compliment, it's like it's saying like you're good looking but in this way.
Right.
It's not how you want to be presented, so you're always going to take that as offensive.
What?
Like, I remember, like, even with myself growing up, I was never excessively skinny or excessively fat. I was always just kind of like in the middle of like an athletic looking physique. Obviously when you're 8 years old you have like no fucking muscle, but I'm just like, I was never fat and I was never like super skinny. Maybe there was a little bit of times where I was like a slightly chunkier, but like not chunkier in terms of like I had rolls or anything. Like my stomach was just a little out. Like it's not like I was never fat. I was never fat and I was never skinny. I was always just kind of in this middle ground until I hit my growth spurt in puberty. I grew up from like 4'10" to like 5'4", and I didn't really gain any weight. And so I was like 107 pounds at like 5'4", which doesn't sound maybe extremely skinny, but it was. Like, I looked at least skinnier than I ever had, and people kind of looked at me like, what's going on with him? Because I was always known as, like, athletic, kind of bigger guy, and I wasn't that for that period of time. And people would, like, I remember specifically, like, one person, like, just asked me, like, oh, how much do you weigh? I was like, oh, 107, and they just kind of looked at me like,
what?
Yeah, but like even then that never, it messed with my head a little bit when I was like really young, but looking back at that now, that's definitely something that, like, if you look on YouTube, there's old videos of me like lifting weights not properly in any sort of proper way, and I wasn't consistent with it at all, but like there's videos of me like making stupid fucking weight training videos when I was like 11 with retarded fucking form, and like don't follow any of the advice in those videos, but they're out there. And that was because of that. It was also because of my own mental health, my own, like I always wanted something as like an outlet for like, I was always very like angry as a kid, and I didn't really have an outlet for that. Yeah. And weight training became my outlet for that, where now I am so much more calm. And even now, like if I skip one day at the gym because like I'm too sore, I'm not too upset. But if I take like 2-3 days off, that's when I start getting like really uncomfortable. And I started to get like really aggressive. Not really aggressive, I'm like, you, but you know, like even I'm just like a little bit more irritable. So I think good one. Okay, let's move on to another question. Pull up the ones you have too. I want to see something.
Bro, I got like Luciano really carried.
Okay.
Thanks, Luciano.
Okay. I don't want to answer.
Oh, let's do this one.
Okay.
Actually,
I'm the interviewer. I should pick this question.
Yeah, which one? Choose.
Let me see.
Let's see.
Matrix, comfort zones.
I want to throw one out too. Let me know which one to read.
Let's do. It's from the same person too. Yeah, it's like these two ones are very contradictory. Thanks, so yeah, thank you. Let's just address this one really quickly. So
okay,
this is from Jazz. It says,
this one is, why are you too gay?
Next question.
Next one.
You can choose this one.
I want to do this one. How is porn ruining young kids?
Yeah, so in my opinion, for a very short period of time, porn can be something that can teach you kind of the things that you like.
How the fuck?
No, I definitely wouldn't recommend anyone take porn as like sex education, like seriously, because that's not how sex really is. The scenarios in porn are obviously very
corny. Those are scripted as fuck.
Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily tell any. If you want to copy the moves of like certain positions, you're like, I want to do that position. Fine, talk to your partner about it. It's not.
I'm not at the beach. I'm in a bathtub.
Sorry. I don't even know what the fuck that was, but I wouldn't take it as sex education in terms of like how to actually seduce anyone or like anything like that, or thinking that sex is going to be like that, whether that be very one-sided or whatever your idea of the type of porn that you're watching is, because people may give a lot of blanket statements about porn, but there's so many different niches of it. So what I was gonna say is that, look, if you are like a young teen male, and you know, like no one's maybe you lie to other people, but if you know you have a porn addiction,
just admit to yourself.
You admit to yourself, and jerking off, like that's something you're gonna be doing in your private time anyway. So take it upon yourself to control your own sex drive and down-regulate it. A lot of people, which I disagree with, will do like no-fap for very long periods of time. And for those of you that don't know, if you don't come like at least like once every 10 days or something like that, your sperm production does go down. If you don't practice maintaining a boner for long periods of time, like I'm not talking about 5 minutes or 30 seconds, however long it takes you to fucking jerk off with the niche subset of porn that you've trained your brain to have dopamine response to. I'm talking about like 30-minute, 40-minute boners. If you can't do that consistently, not that consistently necessarily, but you need to dilate the veins in your dick, because your dick's not a muscle. It's these blood cells, and they need to contract. Not like a muscle. I mean, like they need to dilate. So they need to open up and allow for blood flow. And it's a skill. It's very much like your sperm production. It's very much a use it or lose it skill. Yeah. If you don't edge, you can come. You don't have to fucking torture yourself, but you don't have to be watching these really like messed up scenarios of porn. You don't have to watch porn.
I know you don't need it. It's just fucked.
Get laid. Fuck. Like, if this is something...
bitches. Y'all suck.
No, like, seriously. If this is something that's like, oh, fuck, I'm a porn addict. I don't know what to do. Well, I tell you first off...
Stop.
First, don't... What I would tell you is, like, if you're, like, really in the... You're like, oh, my God, like, I'm watching porn so much that, like my dick barely fucking works anymore. What I would tell you is first... Because a lot of people would trick themselves into thinking they have ED, erectile dysfunction. Don't watch porn for like a week, okay? And then jerk off. You don't necessarily have to watch porn.
It's a lot it sounds a lot simpler than it is.
Yeah, of course. Because there's always that mental battle of wanting to get that dopamine spike. Whether that's from, if you're fat, that's from food. Maybe you are a workaholic and you really like working, and that makes you, for me, like, I really like working, and that makes me really feel like makes me feel good, makes me feel productive. But you need to be self-aware in what you're doing. But I'm just giving, like, instructional. Don't jerk off for like a week. Fight that mental battle for that first week, because that's probably going to be the most difficult part. And then practice edging. Practice being able to last long. And then self-improvement. Work on yourself. Go to the gym. Read fucking philosophy, you know?
There are different ways to get your dopamine.
Yeah.
Your certain types of porn.
Meditate. Create content. Go make money. Get girls. Whatever it is.
Right.
And then get that release that you can from sex.
Because I'm not even gonna lie to you, right? Like, even I had that porn addiction phase.
Yeah, we all have. School, yeah. But over quarantine was for me.
Yeah, and honestly,
quarantine was horrible.
There is no shame in it. Because I used to be ashamed, but now look at me. I'm out here, like, telling you guys, yeah, I used to jerk off to everything. No. But what is it, like?
Furry porn.
Fuck no. If there's one thing that I'll never do is that fucking... I have a dog, bro. Like, fuck that. Hell no. But what is it, like...
I fucking probably just ear raped a lot of people, but whatever.
But yeah, I used to have that shit, and it honestly ruined my life.
Yeah,
it ruined it.
It changes your perception of women so much, where you're just constantly thinking of them as like sex tits, objects. Yeah, ass, tits, lips, like anything. It's like you're just objectifying them so much, and they are bitches. Not shit. You're looking at them solely like that, and it makes you so much more anxious to talk to them. When at the end of the day, like so someone asked a question, Marcus asked, well, maybe I shouldn't be saying names.
Hey, shout out to Marcus.
Shout out Marcus. He asked, he's like, how to riz someone up for real? And I think he's joking, first off, so let's not like put that he's being 100% serious, but it's like, you can't, look, you talk to someone, you find them attractive, they find you attractive. Right. Don't be an idiot. Don't, like, talk to a lot of people so that you're not, like, a complete fucking social retard. Advance it naturally, you know? Advance the conversation naturally. Right. And it was so funny. There's this guy, he's like, the goal with, like, talking to women is to be able to, fuck like... The goal with talking to them is to, like, talk to them like they're human beings. It's like, fucking hell. It's like, you just need to, like, if you talk to enough women, that anxiety goes away. If you stop watching porn as much, that anxiety goes away of, like, putting them on this, like, pedestal, viewing them as these, like, sexual objects. You can just talk to people normally. Like, I'm not, like, what am I gonna be nervous about talking to, like, some 5-foot chick, like, that's like half my, what, like, in reality, what am I nervous about?
Right.
She doesn't like me. Okay.
That's on
move on.
Yeah.
It's not like that's on her. I don't hold any ill will. You don't like me. Okay. You don't like bodybuilders. You don't like whatever. Maybe you think I'm annoying. Whatever your reason is. Yeah. If you don't like me, I don't like. Okay, move on. And that's it. And that's how to riz someone up.
You just gotta act like, you know, you don't have any interest in them. Not have any interest, but, like...
Don't put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Don't, like...
It's like she's out of my league.
Don't worry about, like, offending them. Mm-hmm. Just be you. I know it sounds so
Just
simple.
be you.
Sounds so simple. It sounds like live, laugh, love.
There's
but
so many things.
To just be you with a lot of the things that I'm talking about, like, oh, be authentic, X, Y, and Z. You need to go through, seriously, like, if you don't do this, then, I know I said there's no, like, exact formula, but it's vague, so, but, you need to go through a period of time where you really put yourself in the grip of life, and you really test yourself in whatever aspects that may be, like, you really push yourself. And that's how you find out who you are.
Exactly.
Maybe you are the really funny guy. Maybe you are the guy with just this insane mindset. Maybe you are the really jacked guy. Maybe you are great at playing instruments. Maybe you are really academically focused. You love engineering, art, whatever. But you need to put yourself out there, and you need to really try.
And that's what's like...
Then you'll find out eventually. And if you don't, it's hard to say. It's
sorry,
like,
man.
No, it's not sorry, man. It's like, hang in there. Don't kill yourself. Make at least, this will really help you. Make some good friends. Make some great friends.
I love my friends.
That'll be like the number one thing, dude.
Yeah.
If you have some good friends, there's not really much else you need.
Yeah, there's no reason to not be happy.
For a period of time.
But, I mean, yeah, that's what porn kind of affects. And I don't really...
Yeah, your happiness, because it's your dopamine response. You want this big hit. Mm-hmm. So if you're not there, you're so much lower.
And it's like, how do you feel about it being normalized?
What, porn being normalized?
Do you think that's
normal?
I understand that people go through like phases.
It's ridiculous that like the government has it where it's like, oh, you have to be 18 under. You guys are watching porn, bro. The first time anyone showed me anything porn related, I was like 9 years old. I was like 10. I was 10 years old. Yeah. It's not like... It's accessible. All you have to do on the site is click, yes, I'm 18. And they just trust you.
Or I'm not a robot.
There should be...
You'd be surprised how young I start.
Yeah. There's one suggestion. There's one suggestion someone put. There should be porn for kids.
Bro. Yo, what?
By kids, for kids. Fucking 8-year-olds.
Hey, nah. Okay, we're not going to go any further into that. We're going to go real quick. Okay. But I started
Wait, no. Because the idea of that is so preposterous. It's so fucking disgusting. Like, but if you think about it, do you think... Look, because you have 10-year-olds who are watching 30-year-old women, 40-year-old men fucking.
And you got 30.
What is that? Reverse pedophilia?
Unless...
What is it?
Yeah.
Are they, like, gentrophiles? Or...
There's even...
It's kids, man.
We're going to talk about that, too. Like, what is it? 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds watching the other... It's like...
Underage porn?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude. But... Swimming up to the surface. We're going to leave that down there. But, what is it? I think... I found it myself. Like...
Yeah. Yo, you know what's crazy? Well, you know what how I discovered it? So I don't know how it got on my tablet. I'm being serious. I'm not lying. I was gonna be like, any excuse. Somehow, someone, I'm not gonna say a name because I probably know who it is, searched up sexy naked girls, and my mind was blown. I was like, how have I not thought of this? I was like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, wow. I was like, how I thought it was genius. I was like, what Einstein fucking...
Fuck, dude, sexy naked girls, let's do it, man.
Sexy naked girls? You could look that up?
Is this illegal? Am I going to jail?
Yeah, I thought so. Because, you know, like the virus thing. No, because you know how, you know, on all porn sites, you're always going to have, like, virus type things that, like, pop up. And so when one of those popped up for the first time, I was like, oh, there's a virus! And that didn't go too well with the parents.
They found out?
Yeah, like 2 times.
How did they know? What happened then?
Bro, okay, so this is what was happening. So my phone was getting taken away a lot. This was like peak porn addiction era when I first discovered it.
How old were you?
Bro, I was like 12. 10. Well, like I first discovered it at 10, but like I didn't really start watching it until I was like 12. because at 12 I hit puberty, and like obviously sex drive is a lot higher. So basically, I kept getting my phone taken away so often, and so I was like, fuck, I can't watch porn on my phone. What am I gonna do? So this is gonna sound like the most retarded thing, and I actually have only heard one other story of actually PewDiePie did the same thing, but basically I was like, okay, look at this. If I just print this out, then I don't have to like keep looking this up. I can just have it here.
Oh my fuck.
And so I printed it out, and I don't know, something was wrong with the computer. It like printed it again or something like that, and yeah, they found it. Like they found this porn that was like printed out. They were like, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, whatever. That whole debacle, and yeah.
That's like what is it? They had magazines back then.
Yeah.
And so, it kind of, what is it?
Discovered the concept of a porno mag. Yeah.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Dude, it was crazy how like dependent on this shit I was.
It was all caught, man. Like, what is it?
You were caught too.
I had a tablet, dude. When I was 5.
Yeah.
I had a tablet already. And what is it? I don't know how. I think it was the same thing you did.
You printed it out?
No,
Oh, sexy naked girls?
Print it out, but it started off with like.
Yeah,
images.
if you're like, wait, I was gonna, no, don't. That's the most retarded shit.
I had to be like specifically sexy naked girls. I didn't want naked girls. I wanted them to be sexy naked girls.
Yeah, they have to be sexy.
And so, what is it? I had no idea how to clear a history. And eventually they were like, yo, let me borrow your tablet real quick. And I was like...
Oh, yeah, wait.
Like, fuck you, go ahead.
Yeah.
There was so much on there, because I was like...
You didn't close any tabs?
I was like, what is it? Yo, no way. I felt like Iron Man. Like, you know how like, he has the she was like...
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And so, you know how like, when you press... like something on the Google search bar, it gives you like a bunch of results that maybe you've been to before. Dozens
of like the recently searched.
Yes.
Yeah.
A, B, C. There was always something.
Yeah.
Always something, and they were like, "How did that get there?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like I broke down. I don't know if they believed me, but I broke down. They said they did. I don't know, but eventually. Kept going. We had a little family meeting.
About it?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I was like, fuck,
bro.
Like,
fuck.
I swore to never do it again.
You're Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am too. That or I was growing up, not anymore.
It even took to the pastor.
You what?
Took it
to the pastor? Oh my god.
Fuck, dude.
Oh, fuck. It wasn't that. Like, it wasn't that. But, jeez.
It was crazy. Pastor.
It was, like, embarrassing. It was, like, a lot of shame and a lot of, like...
Everything was embarrassing.
Yo, look.
I even had to get baptized.
The chances that a parent is watching this are slim to none.
Yeah. But if they
But
do,
just in case...
What the hell, Mom?
Look.
I love you, but
I'm just saying to any parents, if you get your child watching porn... Talk to them about it, the negatives, the positives. But if you give your kid some sort of like traumatic memory with porn related, it's not going to be healthy for their like sex lives growing up. So don't make them feel ashamed about it. It's very much something that's very normal. Fucking probably
unfortunately it is.
80% of the population is like watching porn.
As we speak.
As we speak. Your parents in there?
Fuck, dude, I don't think about that. Oh my god.
But yeah, like it is something that's very common. Don't make them feel ashamed. Talk to them, about like internet safety and shit like that. About the negative dopamine responses, which they're not gonna know what the fuck dopamine is, but Tell them like it's the happiness chemical and everything. Yeah.
Probably don't even know what
And it actually like the most fucked up part about porn addiction, with any addiction actually, is the dopamine thing. People don't really know this, but human happiness is a very simple science. I know it's like what, because the whole question is like, how can I be happy? Like if you ask people the same fucking stupid fucking answer they'll all give to the question like, what do you want to do like with your life? It's like, I just want to be happy. Yeah. Happiness is actually very simple. It's a very simple process. What it is that your brain is goal oriented, and whether it's a small or big goal, you'll get a bigger dopamine spike from it if you hit a bigger goal. But if you hit that goal in your life, no, it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to get a dopamine response. You're going to get temporary happiness. And so if you're setting very small, easily achievable goals, like realistic goals, you will be, in the long term, pretty happy. Yeah. And it's that simple. But if you're fucking up your brain by making it expect this
sexy naked girls
by looking up sexy naked girls in your tablet, and that dopamine spike's like fucking through the roof.
Yeah, I'm just like, whoa.
And you're expecting that when in reality would be more healthy is like, these kind of smaller goals that are more easily achievable and reliably achievable long term. Dream big. Dream very big. Set massive long-term goals for yourself, but set also small short-term goals like
how are you gonna get there? Just
like do your homework today, eat your bodybuilder, eat your 6 meals a day, go train, plan out your workout session and do that. And long-term, make sure that those small goals concurrently will lead to that bigger goal, and then you can get that big dopamine spike. It doesn't need to be from porn, because you can also develop like a sex addiction as well, and that's not healthy either. Yeah. But
not addicted, relax. But it's, I don't know, it's something crazy. Some people are gonna actually, it's unfortunate how a lot of people are gonna agree on or disagree on what we're talking about, on what we're speaking. And people are
well, I don't think we're actually saying anything that's too crazy.
Yeah, we're just saying like it's not normal. I mean, it is normal, but it's
normal.
Just the way you fall into it.
It's normal, but it's sad that people get so addicted to it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you're gonna have to go through that learning curve. Like it's just something like, unless society like rapidly changes very quickly, like your parents aren't gonna talk to you about cock and ball torture. Like they're just not. It's not. You're not gonna have that conversation with your parents. Imagine your mom, your dad. Like
we're gonna teach you about.
Look, sex education as a parent, absolutely. Don't let your kids be fucking ignorant. Don't be like, look, teach them the birds and bees. Pretty much as early.
The healthy part of sex.
Yeah. I'm not saying as early as you can. Your 3-year-old doesn't need to understand the shit, but tell them, if they ask questions, answer and answer honestly. Don't give fucking convoluted answers. Be honest about the shit. Because the more they understand it, the less scared they are of it. The less misinformation there is about the subject, and society hopefully moves in a more positive space. All right, let's answer more questions.
Fuck.
Okay. Okay, wait. 5?
What time are we gonna get to the gym?
Like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay, so this is from Victor, his friend in Florida. He says, "Doesn't matter." So are you still Christian?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have pretty semi-different answers on this, but it doesn't matter whether God exists. I have my stance on this.
Does it matter whether God exists?
Yeah.
Isn't that the basis of religion?
Mm-hmm. What do you think? I'll let you answer first.
I don't know if I understand that question all the way. It's like,
does it matter? Like, do you think it matters? Like, because that's one of the biggest questions people ask.
Like, does God exist?
Does God exist?
Yeah.
Does that question even matter? Not the question. Like, does it matter whether or not, the question is, does it matter whether or not God exists?
To keep society functioning, or what? Like,
just take it, interpret it how you want.
The whole, like, base of Christian religion and
is
others, God. Like, there's a lot of religions.
There's like polytheism, where it's like multiple gods.
Polytheism and monotheism. But yeah, we're not done. Christianity is polytheistic, and we only look up to one God.
No, it's monotheistic.
Oh shit! Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's funny because I just said we're not dumb. Like,
yeah.
But fuck it. All right, we're monotheistic. We believe in one God.
We're not dumb.
Yeah, I'm not. But it happens. Whatever. So. Oh man, that's kind of strange. I think it matters if God exists. I mean, that's what I believe in. It's what I'm, like, I believe God does exist. And if there's somehow it comes down here, is like, I don't exist. It's like, and it's over. Like, let's say he doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Is it like, will society keep doing what they're doing, or will it turn, like, rampant and just everything will be on fire?
Well, there is a massive percentage of the population that is religious. So a lot of people would go through like a massive midlife crisis.
Oh, yeah.
But by definition, if you really got a concrete answer to that, then there would be a God. If you got an answer to that, there would be a God. Because as much as like people always say like, oh, there's no evidence for a God, you cannot prove whether or not God exists. Yeah. The only real proof you can say is like, well, I'll answer my own answer. So I actually disagree with you. But the only real answer you can say is it's like, well, if he's not here and he hasn't done anything yet, then, then obviously he's not real. And like, okay. And if you say that he is real, you can only base that off faith. So the true answer, like the objective answer to that question I'm not saying it most likely will never be answered, but it won't be answered unless there is a God, put it that way. So I disagree. I don't think it matters whether or not there is a God. Because in my opinion, so I forget what this thing is called, but it's basically like this like philosophical like setup basically where you have three scenarios. One of them is where God exists and he's a morally just God and heaven and hell exist, whatever. And you have to be a good person because you got to go to heaven. The second scenario is God exists, but he's actually not a good guy. Like he's like morally incorrect. And so you have to take it upon yourself, in my opinion, to, even though you want to go to heaven, ideally, that this God's means to getting there are not just. And so you disagree and you're like,
and then boom, you're in hell now.
And boom, you're in hell because that God would exist in this scenario. But even in that scenario, in my opinion, for myself, I'm like, I still have to be a good person. Because even though this God may not be, I still have personal responsibility, and I still have to build my own system of values that has to be superior to this God's, because this God's I deem to be incorrect. The third scenario is he doesn't exist. There's no heaven or hell.
It's just a whole plan.
And even in that scenario, you still have to be a good person. Right. So the reason why I say it doesn't matter is it doesn't affect how I live my life. I'm still gonna be a good person in what I deem that to be. I'm gonna do my best. I'm a human being, and I'll make mistakes, but I will do my best to not treat anybody poorly. I will always do what I can to do right by people, to inspire people, to do right by myself, and just be like a good role model for people, and do all that and treat people great on the basis that I can. So that's why, to me, that question is kind of like,
religion is very rocky. I've been through my ups and downs, but right now I'm just like straight line. There was a point in time I was
so religious at one point that what's it called? when like Jesus is like walking to be on the cross. They had like I was in Catholic school from first grade to eighth grade. I went to a different middle school like 2 weeks or maybe like a month into the eighth grade. Um, so yeah, but they had this ceremony like once a year where Jesus was on his way to being put on the cross, yeah, and they had the ceremony and they would walk through, and I remember distinctly like I was crying during it because I was like people would ask me like, why are you crying, like because you had like a buddy system where you had like a little buddy from like a way younger grade, and that you would like not really mentor them, but you guys would just like hang out sometimes. And they had that, and the kids were like kind of like getting scared, I guess, because I was crying. They were like, dude, like, why are you crying? Like, you're scaring the kids. I was like, because it's sad. I very much was like I wouldn't say like a devout follower of Christ, but like I really, truly at that period of time in my life wanted to believe. I never really did, but I wanted to, and I was always envious kind of people that did truly believe, because I always felt in the back of my mind like even like someone sounds stupid, like with Santa and shit. I never believed in that shit. Like, yeah, ever. When I was like 4 years old, I never believed in that shit. And no, I'm serious. Not even for a second. Maybe I acted like it because I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I never really believed in it. And I always felt like, I know it sounds like kind of like cocky and arrogant, but I felt jealous that I wasn't stupid. Because obviously, like, Santa doesn't exist. But I felt bad that there was never a period of time in my life that I just had that complete, innocent, childlike wonder. I never had that. I never really believed in God. I never believed in Santa, or the Easter Bunny, or the Tooth Fairy.
Oh yeah, fuck the Easter Bunny.
Fuck the Easter Bunny.
The Tooth Bunny, or what is it? The
Tooth Bunny?
Fuck the Tooth Bunny.
Yeah.
The Tooth Fairy? Oh no, she can come visit me. I can lose it. I can take a tooth off. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What was it? I did. Dude, the moment where I didn't believe in Santa was like...
Oh, you're crying? You're like, it's not real?
I wasn't crying, but I was just like, yo, y'all lied to me, dude.
You
like,
felt betrayed? You got your parents like,
very
what?
much so, because what is
Wait,
it?
so what did they do? They tell you it's not real?
No. They got what I wanted, what I asked for on the wish list, right?
But it said from Dad.
No. Years leading up to that, I was like, bro, the cookies were fucking bitten, dude. Like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, I even, like, when I was little, I used to sleep with my parents because I was too scared to sleep.
Everyone did.
I was so small, I fit in a little pocket. And so, what is it? I was like, I was sleeping with mom and dad, and the cookies that were eaten, so whatever you say, it's mom and dad, fuck you. And I was like, you dumbass. That was...
Wait, how old were you when you found out? When you found out?
I think I was 9. I was 9. And so, I asked for... I used to be like a good Rubik's... See, there's a Rubik's Cube right
Yeah, I see, yeah.
I used to like... I still know how to solve it, but I used to be obsessed with those things, like puzzles of that nature. Yeah. And what is it? We went to the mall real quick. They bought it. You know that little, what is it? That kiosk where it's like a bunch of cool shit. I think it's like in front of Joann's.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, whatever. It was there, right? And so they bought it. When we came back, I saw the receipt.
Like what?
I saw.
Why doesn't this say
I know,
charged to Santa?
I saw the receipt. I saw my sister's name, and I was like,
felt betrayed.
Fucking kill myself. So yeah.
Did you cry?
From then on, probably like in silence, but
really,
I cried somewhere. I in front of people. I was like,
you like took the receipt, you like ran to the bathroom, you were like.
I did. I went to the bathroom. I turned on the fan and I was like,
oh my god.
Like just sitting there, like I just like I hopped on the counter. All I could hear was a fan, and I'm just like,
who am I? Someone afraid.
And it's like two tears, and then 1 tear, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta stop crying before they ask me what's wrong.
Yeah. Did you tell them like you guys lied?
Yeah, I was like, you guys, I hate all of you. I was just kidding. Nah, fuck that.
Alright, okay.
I have
Censor.
to play dumb real quick.
You have to what?
I have to play dumb. I was like, oh, that's what I'm saying. Fuck Santa.
Okay.
Coming for his wife, bro. Mrs. Claus.
All right, let's answer this one. Bro, the amount of gay questions in here, crazy. Okay, listen. So, are you guys gay? No.
Oh.
You say no?
No.
Right. What do you think of gay people? I don't believe that being gay is morally incorrect. No, I don't believe being gay is morally incorrect at all. And a lot of people are actually surprised when I say that. They think that I'm, for some reason, I've gotten it from so many people. They think that I'm like homophobic.
Exactly. Like, dude,
I don't know
why.
Probably
because they think you're Christian, and they think Christians are homophobic.
I'm not Christian.
That's what you just said you were.
No, I was like I grew up Catholic,
okay.
Which is subset of Christianity.
I had a conversation about this with Amy. Shut up, Amy. But what is it?
Fuck you, Amy. No, I'm just kidding.
For real. No, I'm just kidding. But what is it? We had a call over the phone, and I don't know how the topic got brought up, but I was like, it's just like gay people. Like, you can't really fix. I mean, not fix. Sorry, for lack of better terms, I'm gonna say fix. But you can't really control who you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Like, I like girls. All right. If I like girls,
I like men.
If I like girls, I like girls. Like, that's what I'm attracted to. If you like guys, you like guys.
Yeah. If you like trans people or non-binary people, whatever.
Oh. Yeah, non-binary people.
What?
I'm
sorry. Speak out truth, Mkyle.
I'm sorry, bro, but I believe only in the two-gender spectrum.
Okay.
And I stand by that. I understand that there's like people who think that about themselves, that they don't belong to a certain this or that.
Yeah.
Biologically, I go by biologically. Sorry.
Yeah.
But what is it? I'm a guy. I have a dick. Maybe not a big one. I'm a guy. And
Maybe not a big one.
Shut up, bro. Yo, relax. Relax. All right. Settle down.
You're not even like below average. Like, you're above average.
See, this is gonna like contradict what I just said. I like girls. Oh yeah, I'm a big one.
You do. I've seen it.
Moving on.
It's gonna confuse the gay question. You seen his dick? What do you mean? I thought you said you were gay.
Sure. You know, it's normal anyways. Some of y'all gonna be like, "Hey, yo, shut up. You're homie."
So, in my personal opinion, as far as like transgender, non-binary shit, if you are someone who is non-binary, I don't care.
You simply don't exist.
No, I don't care. I'll still be friends with the non-binary person. I'll still be friends with the trans person. It doesn't affect like me at all. I don't like the only like two things are like subjects that get brought up with that where I'm like, it may seem like I'm like against the community at all, will be like the sports thing, and then also like the period of time at which trans people are allowed hormone therapy. So, in my own personal opinion, if you are very young, like I'm talking like 9 years old, and I know it's like, oh, that never happens.
That's crazy.
There are situations where that does happen. I've seen many situations where that's happened. Where, like, these really young, even like a young teen, wants to transition. I'm just speaking in my own personal situation. I'm not saying it shouldn't be legal. I'm saying in my own personal opinion, I think that someone who's very young, in that community, who identifies themselves as trans, whether that be the trans male, trans female, whatever, they want to get the hormone therapy. Although permanent changes to your biology will happen if you do go through puberty, I think you need to allow your brain to mature enough to a certain level to where you can be able to consciously make that decision.
Right.
Because changing your hormone biology, like even with like steroids or anything, it's not a small decision. You need to be at least old enough to where you can properly and in a mature context weigh those pros and cons. And in my opinion, you at least need to be you should be at least over the age of 18 to do that. Am I saying that it should be illegal for anyone under 18? Not necessarily, but I think you should at least be like in some sort of way evaluated by a psychologist to see if you are actually mature enough to make that decision.
Right.
You know, because I'm not saying like evaluated by a psychologist like you're fucking crazy, but you need to be mature enough to make that decision. I don't think it's all right to give a 13-year-old hormone replacement therapy. I don't think so. But if you're non-binary, if you're trans, I'll fuck with you. I don't like if you're an annoying person. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna not be your friend because you're transgender. Because I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't fuck with trans people. Fuck with non-binary people. I don't care. But I don't fuck with them. But I mean, I mess with them. They have some friends in that community, but that's like the whole trend. And then the sports thing.
I don't like that.
There's irreversible, if you go through that male puberty, there's irreversible advantages to being a male in certain sports, in the vast majority of sports, where it's kind of ridiculous when, let's say, you have a kind of mid-tier male athlete who will transition and go into female sports and dominate, and people will kind of be like, well, that has nothing to do with the fact that he's trans, whatever. It's ridiculous. And also the hormone regulations that they have for trans people in these, like the Olympics, for example, you can have like a trans female, so a male that's transitioned into a female, can have testosterone levels of 300 nanograms per deciliter. No one's going to know what the fuck that means, but basically a regular biological born male, like cis male, will be in the 300 to 900 range, and you're like, well, okay, it's 300, so it's not that crazy. But the average female is producing 50 to 60 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone. So you have 6 times the amount of a regular female. That's a significant performance advantage, let alone bone density, let alone oxygen carrying capacity, larger hands, a larger frame, more muscle tissue. There are bone density especially. There are irreversible permanent effects of being exposed to testosterone, androgens long term that will affect you. And so it's like, well, okay, but what about the trans males? Like, is that unfair too? They have an unfair disadvantage. Where it's like, it's unfortunate that you're born in this scenario where you're not in the right body, and you have to compete in here. It's like, well, they're not doing very well. It's like, yeah, they're not. And it is an unfair disadvantage, and it's unfortunate, and it's one of those kind of nuances of the world where it's like it works one way, it doesn't work the other way. Trans males can dominate sports, and unfortunately, trans females cannot. Or trans females can dominate in their sports, and trans... You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Let's see.
I want to get through all the gay questions really quickly. Okay, if you were gay, who would be the first person you'd kiss?
Like in the school or just anyone?
I guess you could choose anyone.
Okay. All right. Let's try in the group chat first.
The group chat?
The group chat first. Let's see. The group chat first.
I actually can't answer this question because I'm actually so incredibly straight that I can't possibly imagine.
Sorry, guys.
We could give a TikTok answer. Who's the guy that plays Deadpool?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he's cute.
Okay, if we're gonna do that one, I'd say
Ryan Reynolds isn't even the best looking dude. I'd say David Lade.
David Lade.
Okay, look. For a period of time in my life when I was like in the 8th grade, I was what you would call like bi-curious, where you don't know if you're.
I had that in 6th grade,
And David Lade was the person that like made me. I was like,
dude, am I gay?
I was like, Jesus.
No
like,
way.
No, what it was is that I didn't like I couldn't differentiate from the understanding like, okay, this person is objectively attractive versus am I attracted to them? No, I'm not attracted to David Lade, but I can very much understand
He is
a great looking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. Is it weird to say that I have too many? Off the top of my head, I'm gonna say these are my recent research stuff. Hold on, let me look at it quickly. I would say. Fuck.
How long has this podcast been?
I don't know. We've gone through a couple.
Oh, bro, I looked at where the mouse is and it says start streaming. I thought it said start recording and I was about to cry.
I'm just gonna say Noel Dazel just
Noel Dazel? Alright, whatever. Stupid ass.
It's off the top of my head.
Okay. What is Mikhail's dream job?
My dream job?
Yeah. So we both have a very like similar kind of thing as what we want to do.
Whatever we love and still make money off of it.
Social media, bodybuilding, yeah. Definitely. For me, so what do you want to do specifically?
And the easiest answer is just content creation.
Content creation.
I want to be able to sustain myself and maybe a family. No, actually, no. I do want a family. I do want to be a dad.
Yeah.
I want to be able to provide what I can, but still do what I love. Like, my dad loves his job, right? He works.
What does he do?
He makes helicopters.
He's what?
He makes helicopters.
Helicopters. That's cool shit.
And what is it? He's like a mechanic.
Yeah.
And he loves his job. He's hired, but like, you know, it's just not for me. Like, I don't want to be a mechanic. I don't want to be a nurse.
Yeah. But
what is it? I want to do something that I like to do.
Yeah.
And that is work out. I love working out.
This podcast is gonna be so fire. Fucking the title is gonna be so
weird.
It's gonna be like suicide, porn addiction, trans people.
And so what is it? Like, yeah, I just want to do what I want to do. And my dad even told me, it's like, bro, just get a job, less work, more money. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be like, money is everything. Okay? Whoever dumb fuck made the money doesn't buy you happiness, yes, the fuck it does.
To a certain extent.
This is happiness. Money bought us this.
Because like statistically speaking.
Unless it's like you run out of shit.
Well, if you want to get into the numbers, it's something like as long as you actually according to my calculations,
shut the fuck. Just get into it.
As long as you have enough money to like. To where the bill collectors aren't like chasing you down, like you're able to pay your shit on time, it actually doesn't make a big difference after that point. But you need to have enough to where you're stable. Yeah.
What's Armando's dream job?
I don't really. I'm very open. I don't really want to do one thing. I obviously want to be Mr. Olympia, but that's not a job.
That's just like
it's a title. And you have to represent for the IFBB and be that, because if you're the Mr. Olympia, you are the guy for the IFBB.
Paid for being the guy.
You are no, I don't mean it like that. I mean like you're their page boy. You know, you have to. You aren't look being Mr. Olympia. You win the contest and that's it. You don't really. There's nowhere in there where it's like contractually. If you're Mr. Olympia, you have to do X, Y, and Z. But as an ambassador for the sport, as the main guy everyone's looking at, you should. Because especially in this modern era of social media, like people like Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, they would have so many more followers right now if they had done what they done in this social media era. They would be so much bigger on their presences online. And they still have massive presences, like millions of followers, but like your golden boy, your big guy right now is Chris Bumstead, of course. And he's got he has almost as many followers as Arnold. And he's been around not nearly as, Arnold's been like a page name, like a staple name.
Work for Young LA, right? I want to work.
It's probably
with,
sponsored,
yeah. Yeah, I want to work with like companies like that. If not, maybe even start my own.
So be an influencer, fitness influencer, sponsorship, supplement, model fitness. Yeah, I want to. So this is what I want to do long term. So both of us, when we're 18, move out to Florida, get jobs over there. Probably going to be like a personal trainer of some sort for LA Fitness. Just cause I like the gym, it's fine.
And
it's not too difficult. It's not too difficult to actually get into as well.
And you still get paid, dude.
Yeah, and like we are. I know it sounds crazy, like these 16-year-olds so arrogant, but we actually know a lot more than your average.
We're just better than everybody.
Personal trainers, and I say this and I say it a lot. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't actually understand training principles. Because I was telling online, after I'm 18, I can get certified as a personal trainer in a month. That's not enough time to actually like learn. This course is not going to be amazing. It's not going to teach you everything. I can probably not study. I can probably not study for it, and probably still fucking pass, because the knowledge that I know. So it's very easy to become a personal trainer. You don't need to be very knowledgeable at all, and these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But I'm gonna become one. Yeah. Just for a period of time, save up my money, compete in bodybuilding, win my pro card in classic physique, and then I'm going to take a few years off to gain size for men's open bodybuilding. Because ultimately that's where I want to compete in, is men's open. And that might be a long ass fucking time. Like, that could take me 7 years. And what's important for me is a lot of the guys that have these crazy physiques don't have that kind of like super entertaining personality. Right. And that's why they're not blowing up. Because that's ultimately what it is. It's going to get you success on social media. Like Chris Bumstead, for example. Obviously, he's a great-looking dude, crazy physique, crazy, very handsome face, but he's also very humble. He's very down-to-earth. He's kind of introverted. He has these like aspects of his personality. He's funny, that make him popular on top of that. So if you have like it doesn't matter what it is, if you have like a very abnormal physique, that in and of itself, or abnormal appearance, that in and of itself will draw people towards it. But your personality needs to also match it as well, because you need to have multiple different factors. If you have the work ethic, the personality, and the appearance, you're a superstar in the making. And that's how it is. Okay. Let's do next question.
Somebody said testosterone.
What, like, is it natty or what?
Like, no, just like
Turk?
Testosterone.
Like with a question mark?
No.
Turk. Yeah.
No question mark, just
Turkish.
Oh, escaping the matrix. Comfort zones. I think we already covered that in the point addiction. Yeah. But the matrix should be a different one in itself, yeah.
Well, okay, so the Matrix.
Oh. This is gonna be longer than the podcast itself.
Well, no, not necessarily. I think I can shorten it down.
Yeah.
Pretty much, but I think basically what that's referring to when they're talking about that is how the normal person is living their life, right? And how they get stuck in this like rat race of like the 9 to 5, chasing that stable job and security, and not going after your own goals, kind of being this taxpayer to the government, whatever. I'm not saying don't pay your taxes. I'm just saying that kind of lifestyle that's pushed, like go to college, get good grades, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be a firefighter, or whatever. Those kind of like, or be an astronaut, engineer, those like classic jobs that are pushed on you very heavily. And those jobs are necessary. I'm not saying, like, look, if you're really passionate about those things, go do them. But a lot of people get stuck in jobs that they really don't like simply because they pay out very well. Simply because they are reliable. I think if you have an engineering degree, you have like a 99% chance of like being hired. Like, it is a very reliable job. Like, as many engineers as you can get, you take if you're like a tech company. But at the end of the day, like, we both don't want to do that. I don't want to go to college. It's not necessary for what I want to do with my life. I want to compete in bodybuilding. And I have that mentality where I'm going to win and I'm going to be the greatest. But even if I failed miserably, I know as a matter of fact that I'm going to be more satisfied knowing that I chased that dream with everything that I had. And no matter what, I know that I'm going to be pretty damn good. But even if, like, I'm not, like, the greatest ever, it's still me not living my life how anyone else wants me to live it. It's what I'm passionate about. It's what I want to do with it. It's the job that I want. Oh, I didn't finish with the business thing. So the plan is, like, right, turn pro, take a few years off with the with bodybuilding so I can get bigger for open, and then compete in open and want to be the greatest bodybuilder ever. Win a bunch of Olympia titles, and I want to fuck off your phone. I want to after I'm done with competing, I want to open up my own gym, supplement line. Yeah. What do you like interpret the question as? The Matrix. Because we could also talk about just, like, the actual Matrix, where it's like is this reality? So actually, the most interesting argument that I've seen about this is it's basically like, think about the odds of this reality actually not being a fake one are actually like infinity to 1. It's actually very, very likely that this reality is not real, because for this reality to not real, so look at it like this, to not be real, if we go on the line of, like, technology, like, progressing, even if technology progressed 1% every year and virtual reality just got 1% better every single year, at a certain point it's going to become indistinguishable from reality. Yeah. And so for this not to be that, we would have to be the first thing that has ever existed, ever. And the odds of that are literally infinity to none. So it is actually very likely that this is not the original reality. We could be triangular. That's actually kind Bill. Of scary. What's that thing? That triangle thing from Gravity Falls? No, the Bill Cipher. We could be triangle demon shaped things in our original forms, and this is the reality we've decided to confine ourselves to. We don't know. This could be a virtual reality inside of virtual. We could be AIs so advanced that we don't even know we're AIs. But we don't know. We don't know. And that's the answer to that.
My brain just like...
I just blew your mind. Okay. What do you think... Well, you're Christian. What do you think happens when you die?
Like I said, we do not know. We could never know. Which is why all you gotta do is just put faith in it.
Yeah, so...
I mean, I'm not a good person. I don't know where I'm going.
Why do you think that? Why do you not think you're a good person?
Bro, I've done so much shit. We've done so much shit. Mistakes. Not even indirectly being, like, a dickhead.
Yeah.
And there are times where I was directly being a dickhead.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a reason, maybe there was no reason. Mm-hmm. But none of us are good people. Sorry. None of us are good people. But on the other hand, when it comes to, like, Christianity and stuff, there's a God that people talk about that is willing to take you as you are if you just obey. And that, to me, was like, the more I looked into it, I was like, what if I don't obey? What if I don't feel like doing that? And then it's just like, oh, well then, lake of fire. So now you gotta be like, I'm sorry, this, that, to something we don't even know if we believe in or not. Who are we apologizing to? No,
what was the question originally? What do you think happens when you die?
Yeah, what do you think happens when you die? Yeah. So, if we're talking like realistically what happens when you die, I feel like you just see black. Like, that's it.
That's what I think.
But if we're talking about, like, from a religious, spiritual whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Well, it's what you think. What do you think?
What do I think when I die? Fuck. Honestly, it's kind of like dreams. I think that I'll be somewhere that's not Earth, but like, fuck. It's like my soul's gonna go somewhere else. Cause, like our bodies are just temporary. They're gonna go into dust anyways. I don't bring my body with me, and that's why sometimes I think like, what does my soul look like? What do I actually look like besides this body?
Like your essence.
Yeah.
Like not just like what like it's not just like how you are right now and what you're speaking, but I know this is gonna sound so like acid trippy to people, but
I hope you guys are high while watching this.
Yeah, no, if you are high, it's probably a great experience for you. Like
floating and everything.
Trans penises.
Cock
and ball torture. Oh, what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, like your essence of like, it's like all like the little intricate details of who you are, like how you react to certain things, what you do in your free time when someone's there, when they're not there, when you're around your family, when you're around your friends, just the true essence of like how you truly are when you're alone, you know, when you have nothing that's confining you. And that's always what I've wanted to be, is like, no matter who is around me. It's kind of why with the whole like trans and non-binary thing, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are, what your status is in life. If I've known you for a while, if I've not known you for a while, I'm gonna treat you with the same like respect, the same morality that I would treat anyone. I don't care. Like I don't.
That's your life. Like it's not mine.
No, I'm not even speaking about trans people. I'm speaking about anything. If you're let's say people are saying X, Y, and Z about, oh, don't talk to this person, he's an asshole. I don't care. I think people said probably something about that, about you, maybe. Well, when they saw us hanging out with you, like, oh, Mkyle's an asshole. Even then, like, even now I get some shit where people are like, oh, Mkyle's arrogant. I'm just like,
I earned it.
Oh my gosh. Right. Even, like, I heard people were talking shit about, like I say, who was talking shit. If they want to, talk to me. If they want to ask me who it is, I'll tell them. But these people were talking shit about like some of my friends, and I was like, why are you fucking talking shit about these people? Should I say names?
Let's add them, since all they want to do is talk shit and not to our faces. You guys are pussies, by the way.
No, they weren't talking shit about me. They're talking shit about other people. I'm talking shit about Gustavo and Nathan, who are my close friends, and they are great people. They're talking smack about them.
Great band.
And I was like, hey, like, those are my friends. What are you saying? They're saying, they're saying what they said about them. And I was just like, you're not gonna like talk crap about like my friends, and I'm just gonna like sit there and just like, I'm not saying I'm gonna fight you, but I'm gonna say something like, what do you think? What are you saying? What are you saying? Oh, you think that about them? But would you ever say that to their face? Probably not. This is a big rule. This is a big rule that people have, or that I have for people, that I have for myself, is you don't say something behind someone's back that you wouldn't say to their face. I'll never speak. I don't really talk shit about anybody. Yeah. And if I do, it's because I seriously have a problem with them or something that they do, and I would say it to their face. Yeah. There's nothing that if these people want to like come at me and be like, oh, why'd you say that about them? Like, first off, I didn't even fucking name who you were. So, but if they actually like have a problem with it, they can talk to me about it. If not, they can like just remain how they are. Yeah. So many people talking crap. It's like, oh, you're arrogant. It's like, you don't know these people, dude. Or about me? Oh, both ways. To me, people very much would always think that I was very arrogant, that I'm like cocky, and it's just like, you don't know me. You don't know why I'm like this. You don't understand why you're interpreting this as this. I genuinely am proud of who I am, and I come off as charismatic because I am charismatic. I come off as confident because I am confident. Sometimes even like people will like, they'll see me like by myself, and they're like, oh, like you look sad or something like that, and I'm not sad when I'm by myself.
We're just comfortable.
I'm just not even comfortable. I'm thriving when I'm by myself. I don't need. I'm chilling. Yeah, like I was just like eating yogurt, and these people came up to me. They're like, oh.
It's always the fucking yogurt, dude.
Oh, you look sad, and I was like, no, I'm eating. Like I was like, I didn't get kicked out of this group. I'm like, they're literally right there. They weren't like Armando, fuck off. It's literally just that I'm a bodybuilder. I need to get my protein in, so I'm eating it, and it's always interpreted as that. No shame to those people because they were just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
And just like talk to me, and one of them actually needed advice on something. So, no shame to you, but I'm just saying it's always interpreted as like being alone as like being this negative thing. But if you gotta do X, Y, and Z alone, it's fine. It's totally fine. It's not negative. It is what it is. Maybe I need a certain amount of alone time with myself, where I can just recollect and like even recently like there are periods of time where we would train with like fucking 10 people. We couldn't get shit done. We can get shit done.
That's true.
You gotta you gotta reduce it. You gotta, I'm not saying cut the circle.
But like, you gotta split up at least.
What you have to do, like, if you guys can't all be together, it's fine. You don't need to be in a group of people fucking 24/7. You could be alone. You could be fine.
You have no idea, dude. What is it? It was like, what is it? We were at the gym. I was with somebody else at the gym, right?
Yeah.
And what is it? We were waiting for the squat rack.
Yeah.
But I understand now what it's like for other people if they ask us if like how many sets we have left, and there's like a fuck ton of people just in one. Cause what is it? Let's say the group that I'm talking about was like 6 people, and I was like squats, deadlifts, 3 sets each. I'm just like, god damn, I'm never gonna this rack.
Yeah.
And out of desperation, I used the Smith machine.
Fucking vomited. You're walking and you're like, you unclip that clown, and just like shiver goes down your spine.
Shit was ass.
Yeah. Alright. Next question.
Yeah.
I'm about to ask you like this isn't there, but I'm gonna ask you like a very stereotypical interviewer question, which is stupid, and people are gonna look at it. Yeah, they can. Look. So if it's like that on the camera, they can see us. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in 5 years.
Yeah, realistically.
Okay. Let's think.
5, you'll be 21.
I see myself. That's a lot. I mean, usually I love talking about the future and stuff, and I like thinking about it, but as of recently, I've only learned to like live in the moment and worry about it later. When that time comes, then I'll do what I gotta do.
That's retarded.
I know, right? It kind of is sometimes, because it's like I really gotta think about my future. It's coming really fast.
You always gotta. It sounds stupid because I got good at like not stressing about that kind of shit. Because I'm like, no, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be in Florida. I'm gonna be probably a 21 personal trainer. Hopefully by then, my social media is like blown up a decent part. Ideally, it's blown up to the point where I don't need to work at LA Fitness, right? And I can just.
I mean, now that we're starting, like it's pretty. Yeah, this is a start.
Yeah.
Like I see myself working out. I see myself like independent.
Yeah.
I moved out already. Sorry, mom and dad, but I'm already out of here.
Yeah. Same here.
I've sustained enough to maybe get myself a pretty decent apartment.
Yeah.
Nothing.
By 21, that's like 3 years. Like. Yeah.
So
it's like once we're actually like by ourselves and our schedules are like down to us, the amount of like time that we'll have, as long as we don't slack off and like fucking become like
lazy
party goers or anything like that, very much can save up a very good amount of money, get our own places. I don't know, our own place by 21, ideally of course, but everything can be in a pretty good place if we really grind at that point. Because being successful on social media is not hard. Stand out in one sort of way, and consistently post content, and you're there. Yeah. Man, that's it. And it's like there's such a void for, like, in my opinion, like, Andrew Tate was not careful. He wasn't. I don't mean careful in the sense of like he wanted to be misogynistic, and he just couldn't be. That's not what I mean. He should have done a lot more refining of who he actually is before he went about trying to fix everything else, because there's too many philosophical and logical loopholes in what he was saying to where he could be viewed as like someone to be looked up to, not like David Goggins or like Jordan Peterson or these guys. You need to be able to speak. Yeah. If you can't speak, you're fucked. That's how everyone is thinking about you. Is what are you saying? Yeah. Are you an idiot? What do you think about these controversial topics? Are you going to give a half-assed response? Or are you going to say what you actually think? And if you say what you actually think, I'll tell you something. Not everyone's going to like it, but the people that do like it will fuck with you so much harder. So you can't be like, you're going to get backlash, but like you can't be reserved. You can't be reserved with what you think. Can't be a people pleaser. You gotta say what you think. It's going to come out at one point or another. And that's just that. And if it is controversial, what's that saying? All press is good press. Not necessarily, but to a certain extent. Like, as long as you're not saying anything that you don't truly believe in, it's whatever. Okay, next question. You want to do some of the porn ones? I feel like we've talked a lot about porn.
Favorite male porn star?
I'm glad that I'm like removed enough that I don't know who that is. I don't know who Leo Vice is.
He's an Asian male porn star.
Okay.
Asian. I mean, not that I watch porn, but I'm just like, I know of him from a podcast.
Okay.
And what is it? That's how I kind of found out about him. He's a good physique. Represented for the Asians around here. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Favorite male porn star? Say J-Mac?
Because they close at 8.
Okay. All right. That's going to wrap it up for the podcast.
What's your favorite, man?
Oh, what? I said J-Mac.
J-Mac.
J-Mac. Oh, he's a Latino dude.
Nah.
Yeah.
We both have, like, they're both ethnic, like, connected to
well, he doesn't look really, he can pass as a white dude, but he's like Cuban or something. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's very fucking long. We're gonna go work out now.
What are we
Peace. Do legs.
Fuck, what?
Why not?
I was ready for back and buys, bro.
Oh, I can't do back. That's like the one thing I can't do.
Okay, I'll do buys. I do legs tomorrow.
Oh, could you legs today? Wait, did you train it yesterday?
No. I was at the party yesterday.
I didn't either. We can train whatever.
I'm gonna do back and biceps. I'm gonna do legs tomorrow. I'm not slacking on legs, guys. Relax.
He is, but...
Oh, fuck.